Well, hello and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Alex Juarez. I'm a communications director at AARP Arizona. AARP, as you know, is the nation's largest nonprofit, nonpartisan organization dedicated to empowering people 50 and older to choose how they live as they age. With a nationwide presence and nearly 38 million members across the nation and over 900,000 in Arizona, AARP strengthens communities and advocates for what matters most to families: health security, financial stability, and personal fulfillment. In the month of June, we are focused on the broadband emergency benefit. Again, the broadband emergency benefit, also known as the BEB. ARP fought for the emergency broadband benefit, and this is and it's actually, I should call it the EBB, not the BEB, as I called it. So we're going to call it EBB, the Emergency Broadband Benefit Program, okay? Because to many Americans that do not have access to the affordable high-speed internet, they need to work, attend school, see the doctor, and avoid isolation. The COVID-19 pandemic has shown that access to high-speed internet is not a luxury, it's a necessity. The Emergency Broadband Benefit is a FCC program to help eligible Americans access the affordable high-speed internet they need during the COVID-19 pandemic and beyond. To learn more, visit aarp.org/EBB or call 1-833-511-0311. You can also text on your cell phone internet, the word internet, to the number 22777. Again, the word internet to the number 22777. And you can also visit us at www.aarp.org/AZ. So today we're going to be talking with Coach Sherry Ann. Coach Sherry Ann just got back from DC, Boston, Martha's Vineyard. How are you, Coach Sherry Ann?
I'm great. Thank you so much. Yeah, we got back yesterday. It was a whirlwind tour of the East Coast, seeing some history, and the weather was phenomenal. So to come back to this heat was an adjustment.
It must have been a little difficult. That's right. Excellent. Well, in today's program, we're going to be talking about healthy dinners. So what makes a healthy dinner, Coach Sherry Ann?
I know, it's so interesting when people are like healthy, like, do we really want to use that word? Is it a bad word? Is it a good word? You know, it's just, the thing with healthy is you really want to try to aim to have all three of your macronutrients, like I always say, for every meal. And making sure that you have your fat, your protein, and your carbs. And not avoiding, fats, because a lot of people tend to really stay away from fats, but we need fats for our body. So making sure that you have all three macronutrients. And another thing I try to aim for is color. Like I've always said in the food segments, is really trying to get as much color in there as possible. And so, because if you're getting colors, then you're getting a lot of nutrients and vitamins and minerals. And so just make sure that you're doing that. And I'm loving that people are popping in and saying where they're from. So thank you so much, because I know that you guys are from all over the nation watching this. So thanks for sharing where you're coming in from. I just saw one from Sarasota Springs, New York. Or Saratoga. So that's awesome. So I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, we'd love to see where you guys are watching us from. So welcome everybody that's watching us across the nation, and those of you in Arizona as well, welcome. And again, we're talking to Coach Sherry Ann, and today we're going to be talking about healthy dinners. Make sure that if you have a question or you want to find out more about a recipe or something that's healthy that you want to know about, make sure you type it in the box there in the comments section, and Coach Sherry Ann will be happy to answer your questions. So let's start then, Coach Sherry Ann. Let's talk more about healthy dinners.
Yes, let's dive right in. And so, yes, please ask any questions that you want to ask, and I will do my best to answer them here live. And if I can't, I'll always circle back around and answer them on Facebook. So, funny enough, I tried 2 brand new recipes. So should I share those first, or should I share those last? I'll share them last. So because they were fun to make, and I'm really excited about both of them actually. So, but a tradition in my house, not tradition, but typical dinner is we love salmon. And coming back from the East Coast on the coast, we actually got to do some fishing, which was cool. So we cooked our own fish. But this morning I cooked up some salmon, And so I'm going to do my best not to tip the food onto the floor. But here I have some salmon, and I love salmon because salmon is kind of a fattier fish. And so it really provides your omega-3s, omega-6. And so salmon is really, really very good for you. And so I got some salmon here that I grilled and some bright green broccoli. We love broccoli. And so I just squeezed some lemon on that. And then I'll spin this around. And so this is a 7-grain, so this provides some more carbs, but it's also a really good carb because it has a lot of fiber in it and it actually has protein in it. So we try to stay away from just plain old noodles or just plain rice in my house. If we're doing that, it's kind of a special occasion, like if we're doing a pasta dish or something. But my kids definitely like their noodles, so I don't deprive them of them. But we try to stick to like whole grains that have a lot of fiber, and I like this one because it's really kind of beefy. And so this is a favorite in our house, and it's really easy to cook. If you don't have a grill, you can easily cook your salmon in some foil in the oven, or you can cook it in a pan on the stove. And don't be afraid to use olive oil or butter when you're cooking it because it makes it very, very tasty. So I have lemon trees. I have 2 very large lemon trees, so we use a lot of lemon. So I cook with lemon.
Adds great flavor. Can you touch real fast? Can you talk about the fatty? I mean, you mentioned that salmon is fatty. Why is that good for us?
Well, it has omega-3s in it, and omega-3s and omega-6s. And so you really want those to help because the reason we want fat in our body is because it actually helps your body utilize the protein the way it's designed to be utilized. We need it for our organs to function properly. We need it to lubricate our joints. Like we need fat in our diets. And so salmon just happens to be a fattier fish. It's not it's just has more fat in it than other fish. And so that's why salmon, it has so much flavor. You know how you've had like cod or tilapia, it's pretty mild and what I would consider to be a very mild and benign fish, not a lot of flavor. So that's why people tend to season it up quite a bit or blacken it and use different seasonings. And it's because it doesn't have a lot of fat in it. And so like salmon though, it's got a lot of flavor. And so I do see questions about farm raised or wild salmon. So that's a great question. Because here in my house, we had a lot of discussion after the documentary Seaspiracy came out. And even before that came out, we do as much wild caught as we can. I prefer to do wild caught fish rather than farm raised. And it's a lot of it's just a personal preference. And it's a lot of the farm raised fishes or shrimp or scallops or whatever, they are under regulations, but you just don't know how they're being raised. And so we try to do wild caught as much as we can. And when you're buying salmon, if you pay attention, you'll see if it says color added. Don't ever do that. Don't ever buy fish where color's been added to it to make it look pretty. So try to do, in my opinion, wild caught as much as you can. It tends to be a little more expensive, but for me, it's worth it.
Okay, very good. Let's go take a look and see the comments that we have so far. You've got a lot of comments here. So Edna says hello. Kathy says, watching from Prescott, Arizona. Excited to see what Coach Sherry Ann suggests for healthy dinners. Sharon, hi again from Saratoga Springs, New York. Welcome. And Cheryl Edwards, hello from Morris Plains, New Jersey. Edna, saludos cordiales in Spanish from Los Mochis, Sinaloa. Very good. From Mexico. Very good. Welcome to the show. Swanchi, hello from Pasadena, California. We have David Gallen from Tucson, Arizona. Billy Nelson, hello from Folkston, South Dakota. Wonderful. Welcome. Sandra Harris, hello from South Carolina. Let's see. Ginny Sutton, hi Sherry Ann, Sun City, from Sun City, or close to Sun City West. And let's see, we already talked about the healthy dinner questions about farm raised. Okay, so that's what we have, Sherry Ann. You've got a lot of people following you now there.
Awesome. Well, and I did see a question about which type of salmon. So this particular one is an Alaskan wild caught one, and so which type of salmon. So that's what this one was. And I pick it up from a local store called Sprouts. because they support local, but they also try to do as well as they can of sustainability for fish. And so that one happens to be an Alaskan one.
Okay, that's fantastic. Excellent. So now when you talk about the omega-3s, so obviously the best source of the omega-3 is eating fresh fish. But if you don't eat the fish, for those that don't like maybe seafood, is it okay to take the pills, the supplements?
Yeah, you definitely can. I would just recommend checking the sourcing on it, because
Okay.
it's how it's encapsulated. If your body isn't digesting that down, it's really not reaping the benefits of whatever, and that has to go with any supplement. So just make sure that you're taking something that is like it's more like a vegan capsule, so that it just breaks down. And so
Okay.
sometimes we just don't absorb the things, because by the time it gets through our intestines, it's just then getting broken down. And so our body isn't really able to absorb it. So try to eat as much as you can to get your vitamins, nutrients, all your minerals, all things like that. But if you have to take a supplement, by all means, go ahead and do that. Just check to see where it's being sourced from.
Okay, very good. Excellent. Good tip on that one. Because I have a friend that takes probably about 15 supplements a day. Like, I don't know. that seems like a lot of supplement, a lot of pills that are in your stomach trying to digest and process in your system. I just don't know how that can be healthy.
Well, I mean, some people are very habitual, and so that makes
Mhm.
them feel like they are getting everything, and they might be. I mean, they're at least getting something better than nothing, rather than
Mhm.
if they were taking nothing. Um, but it's hard for our bodies. So I'm wondering if you're taking that many supplements, I would encourage you to break them up, like have an AM and have a PM, and in that way it allows your body to. Because sometimes you need certain things to go together. And like
Right.
vitamin D and calcium go really well together.
Okay.
And some don't. So we have fat soluble, and then we have water soluble vitamins. And so water soluble ones, you can take as many as you need. And if you overdo it, your body just flushes them out anyway. But fat
Okay.
soluble vitamins are different. Like you can overdo fat soluble vitamins. And so
Right.
there's just a lot to vitamins. And so that's why I really try to encourage people just to eat healthy, eat a well-rounded diet, making sure that you're hitting all your macronutrients, and then hitting what I always say is the rainbow. Like have as much of the rainbow in your diet as you can. Just
Excellent.
so.
Yeah, exactly. So while you were talking about the supplements, it broke. The internet broke just for a second, but you mentioned breaking then the supplements morning and then some in the evening, right? Is that
Yes.
what you said? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
If you're taking a ton, just to allow your body an opportunity to absorb it. Because if you're putting too much in there at once, your whole process is your whole system, the digestive system, is going to kind of look at that and be like, okay, like how much of this am I absorbing?
That's right.
So,
Okay,
um,
very good.
so I'm going to move on to the next one, because we've got 4
Hmm.
other dishes.
Great.
I'm sure there's going to be some questions. So another one, because when we did lunches, we also talked about the Instant Pot, right? And so someone said that we should do an Instant Pot segment.
Yeah.
So this next one I make with my Instant Pot, and I love it because it's so very easy. Because one of the things I do want to touch on today is one of the things people most get hung up on is planning, and not just feeling overwhelmed. So they just go to convenience for dinner. By the end of the day, people are exhausted. They've been working all day. They've been dealing with children, dealing with, whatever. And they just don't really want to cook. And so thinking ahead is part of the win. So think ahead.
Mhm.
But this one is, I make it in my Instant Pot, and it's a chicken chili stew. And it's going to like pour out if I'm not careful. But in here is, I should have probably taken the broth out and just put the goods. So what I do is I put chicken breasts in the bottom of the Instant Pot, and then I just put them in there whole. And then I pour in anything I want in this chicken chili. And you can do anything. This one's a Mexican one. So I have tortilla strips around, some cheese, and then some avocado on top with some cilantro. But in here, I put onions, carrots, corn, black beans. And then you just pour a
Could you
jar.
lift it up a little bit that way they can see it? There we go. That looks really nice. There you go. Yep.
And then you just pour in like a favorite jar of salsa, and
Okay.
then just a little bit of water just to kind of cover everything a little bit more. Put the lid on the Instant Pot, and chicken breasts in an Instant Pot cook in about 18 minutes, like to where you
Pretty
can
fast.
eat them.
Hmm.
So then I reach in after it's done and I let it release. I pull the chicken out and I shred it with 2 forks and I just throw it back in the pot. And then it's just a great, easy meal. And this makes a lot of leftovers that can
Okay.
reheat very easily. And so being as busy as I am, that's another tip that I will give you is if you can make things in bulk, like make a lot of, like a pot of stew will last me a little while.
Right.
Where we can heat, because we have no problem with leftovers in this house. In fact, it's really nice on busy nights. And so that'll give me a few meals actually that can happen throughout the week. And so stews I know we're kind of going into summer and stew is not like the most popular thing. Like I do a stew a lot in the winter time when it's cooler, but we still do it in the summertime. And you can do a cold stew if you wanted. But that's a popular one because it's so easy. So very, very easy.
Excellent. Very good. So Todd Sylvia, one of our regulars, he's in New Mexico. He says hello and appreciates the information. Swanchi says, my husband would think the dish is boring. What kind of sauce could be added? That's a great one. That'd be me.
Well, so you're making it with salsa. Like, so I pick a really hearty, like good salsa, medium. I don't go hot because my kids don't want it hot. But because of the onions and the carrots, and you can throw in some garlic, like it's got a lot of flavor. It's really not that boring, and it's quite tasty. And so if you're thinking it's boring, I mean, you could, after you're done, like put some hot sauce on it. But between the salsa and you can add some tomatoes to it if you wanted. But when it comes to stews, like you can put anything in there that you want. But the salsa that I use is actually from Costco. It's their Kirkland organic salsa, and it's got a lot of flavor. So the dish is actually pretty intense. And then I sprinkle it with cheese, avocado, cilantro, and some tortilla strips.
So actually, she meant she was talking about the salmon dish. So yeah, I got mixed up too. So thank you for the clarification there. So what can we add to make it more flavorful?
Well, so this salmon is cooked with it's cooked with a butter that I add like a different kind of stuff to it to make it really cook the salmon. And so the butter melts on top and kind of seeps into it to give it even a little bit more fat. I don't mind butter. Like we cook with a lot of butter or olive oil. And so if you wanted to add a sauce, I mean, you could do like a La Crema sauce on the salmon, or you could do, if you wanted to put something on top of the broccoli, you could do that. Like you could make a cream sauce to put on top of the broccoli. And I mean, the bulgur rice mix, actually, I cook it with some cocoa aminos. And I like cocoa aminos because it's an alternative a lot for soy sauce for people, but it's a little bit sweeter. And it gives it a lot of flavor. So it's really not that bland. But when it comes to like spicing up a dish, if you're kind of bored with it, just think about what you could put on it as far as like adding anything that enhances flavors, like citrus enhances flavors.
Absolutely.
And so that's why we use a lot of lemon here, because it brings out the flavor in things.
How about noodles? I love noodles. I like the tat pie or the egg noodles. Are they healthy enough for us, or should we stay away from those?
I think you were dealing with technical difficulties earlier when I said this. So we don't do a lot of noodles in my house. If we do noodles, it's kind of a special, like we're having, pasta night and they're going to have noodles. I don't cook a lot of noodles. Every once in a while, my kids will be like, so can we have like Alfredo? Like my youngest loves chicken Alfredo.
Right.
So noodles are fine. And like I've said before, don't deprive yourself of things. Like noodles are totally fine. I don't want you to think that I'm telling you they're not okay. So if you want them, just have them in moderation. That's all. So there's nothing wrong with them.
All right. Fantastic. Excellent. So Sharon is asking a question, and actually she says, could make a pistachio crusted salmon too. Oh, that sounds good. Really good.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do when you're wanting to bread fish and cook it and pan fry it. And just to add, but I love pistachios. So that is a great idea.
Yeah, good suggestion there. All right, let's go to dish number 3.
Okay, so dish number 3, I'm like, this is another popular in my house. In fact, it was funny because my son asked for it the other night. So, he just wanted the taco meat. So This is another one that I'll cook ahead. I'll cook taco meat ahead. Like I'll, buy, a pound and a half, 2 pounds of beef, and get it cooked. Cause then it can be used for quesadillas, tacos. And this is a taco salad, because this is usually how I like to consume my taco meat. And plus it's got a lot of color in it, like I always say.
A lot of color.
So I do mixed greens, and because I just like mixed greens are actually better for you. It's like you can do a 50-50 blend, or you can do, I think this one's actually a spinach and arugula. But I got some purple carrots in here, some orange bell peppers, some corn, black beans, avocado, the meat, and then the cheese on top. And then I just drizzle a little bit of salsa, because there's a lot of flavor right here. So you're not going to need to add too much like dressing to it or anything like that.
Right.
So I just put a little bit of salsa on it, and then enjoy it. And so this is great because there's a lot of fiber, a lot of color. You got your fat, you got your protein, you got your carbs. So this is a staple a lot in my house.
That's a staple there in the household, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's just got a lot of color, and it's pretty. But it's just this is a really healthy dish. But it's going to give you all that you need. So this is a popular one.
Excellent. Very good. All right. Should we talk about dish number 4?
Okay. So now the next 2 dishes were totally new for me to make, and it was so much fun. So I'll leave the vegetarian one for last, because I did make a vegetarian meal. So this next one it's like a casserole, and it's, I actually, the beautiful thing about cooking is just have fun with it. Like when you start cooking, invite your partner in, invite your kids in, like cook with family. It's just so much fun. So this one is so you first cook so I've got sweet potatoes, Brussels sprouts, and I cook those with some garlic and some onions, and just barely enough. Actually first, this meal takes some time, just so you know. So first I actually cooked the chicken breast in a cast iron skillet and browned them, pulled them out, and then the pieces were in the pan. And then I cooked sweet potatoes, Brussels sprouts, and onions in that same pan, just briefly, like just a few minutes, with a little bit of chicken broth. And then I mixed all of that together with some seasonings into a baking dish lined with brown wild rice. And then sprinkled slivered almonds and cranberries on the top, and then baked it in the oven.
Okay.
It was it's actually really, really tasty.
Is it good? Yeah.
I love Brussels sprouts, and I love sweet potatoes. And so it's a really tasty, very flavorful dish. Very easy. I didn't put how I tweaked it is I didn't use as much rice. Like they wanted you to put like 6 cups of rice in the bottom of the casserole dish. And I was like, I'm going to cut that in half. Sure. And so, but sweet potatoes are so very good for you. So are Brussels sprouts, a lot of fiber, chicken. And then I just put it with greens with a very light lemon vinaigrette that I made. And just to get some greens in there, some more color and some more fiber.
Absolutely.
And I always can't have enough greens. Like I love greens. So this was a fun dish to make, but it was time consuming just with the chopping of potatoes, Brussels sprouts, chicken. I mean, I looked for a cheat in the sense of going to the store and looking for potatoes that were already sliced, because sometimes in the produce section you can find them already packaged, sliced, but there were none. So I left the skin on my potatoes. That was the other thing, is in the recipe she was saying take the skin off, and I leave the skin on just because I like the extra fiber.
Yeah, it gives you more fiber, right? Exactly. Absolutely. Sanji has a question there. If there's going to be a link to the recipes, and I believe Coach Sherry Ann will go back into the comment sections, and she can probably share the recipes there with you.
Absolutely. Because that one was a fun one. I enjoyed making it. I mean, even though it was time consuming, but my kids were hanging around and it was fun.
Absolutely.
So did you measure your dressing ingredients? Oh,
measuring the dressing ingredients so you could share it with us.
No, because we've been gone. I haven't needed to make a new batch because we haven't been home eating it. But I make a commitment. I will do that, and I'll put it in the comments because it's time. It's almost time for me to make it again. So I will do that, and I'll put it in the comments section on the Facebook page. Is that
great
fair
memory,
enough?
Kathy? That is fantastic. All right, let's go to number 5.
because I was racking my brain. I think I'm supposed to be doing something, but like for this segment, and that was it.
Nothing like a great reminder.
This one I think is my favorite recipe of that and I haven't even eaten it yet. I mean, I've tasted it, but I'm excited to eat it. So these are zucchini boats. So the last time I did dinners, I'm gonna put my finger here so they don't slide off. I do stuffed bell peppers. Those are popular in my house, but I was like, you know what, I want to try something different. And I went looking. And so this isn't a complete vegan recipe. It would be if you didn't put cheese on it, or you could do a vegan cheese. But this is totally vegan. The recipe calls for meat, but I just didn't do meat. I did a mixed grain that has about 7 different grains in it. And so it's really, really hearty. It's a lot like the grain that is with the salmon. So it's kind of beefy. It's almost like a no meat, like if you ever had like the no meat stuff in the store. And so I cooked onions, garlic, and the inside of the zucchini, because you have to gut the zucchini. And then added cherry tomatoes that were sliced, corn, black beans, baked it in the oven and topped it with cilantro. But I tasted the innards, before as I was scooping them into my zucchini boats. And this is really good. So I would serve this just like this. If you wanted to put a small side salad with it, you could, but you've got plenty of vegetable here with the zucchini. And then all these toppings, it's just got a lot of flavor and really yummy. And it's not that time consuming. It's just a matter of cutting the zucchinis, like prepping them, and then just prepping the inside. It probably took me maybe not even 20 minutes to make this meal.
Wow, that's pretty fast. Yeah, and that looks beautiful. Looks delicious too.
So I'm excited about the zucchini boats because I've always done stuffed bell peppers, but I was like, let's try something else.
Yeah, exactly. So Cheryl has a question going back to the chicken dinner. Was there a sauce on the chicken dinner?
No, because it's cooked with a lot of seasonings, and I can't remember exactly all the seasonings. There's like some paprika, there's some cumin, and salt and pepper. And then, so there's no sauce. I mean, there's sauce that gets created in the pan from everything that's cooking together. But it's really moist. I mean, the key to that is not overcooking the chicken in the first place. In the cast iron skillet, when I first cook it, I don't overcook it because I know that I'm going to be baking everything to get together. So it's just cooked just enough. But no, it stays moist. And so there's no sauce. There's just a lot of flavor.
Right. Wonderful. Great. Well, I know that we're almost running out of time, but Kathy brought up, a good point on her brain health must be fantastic because you remember that. So next time around on June 22nd at the same time, we're going to be talking about brain health. So what are we going to be talking about there?
Yeah, we'll be sharing brain health tips to do to keep your brain sharp. Because there was a great book that Sanjay Gupta put out, and he actually partnered with AARP in doing that book. And so so I'll just be giving some tips on how to stay sharp with your brain and just sharing why brain health is so important, because it really is, because we need that to sustain us for the whole time that we're here on planet Earth.
That is right. That is correct. Excellent. Very good. Cheryl mentioned that she loves the zucchini boats are good on the grill. Yes. And wrapped in foil as well. So that's good. Excellent. And then Sharon also, does the taco salad use any tacos or strips? So
I don't.
Are we talking about meat?
She's probably just asking if I put any tortilla strips. I'm asking.
I see. Okay.
So you can definitely, just to give it some crunch and some extra flavor. I love tortilla chips and tortillas, really tortilla chips. I mean, I can plow through a bag of tortilla chips like there's no tomorrow. So I sometimes do like to add a little crunch because I love the flavor of tortilla chips. So you can definitely add or cook your own tortillas and make strips. Sometimes I've done that too. There's some great Mexican stores around here where you can get really thick, good corn tortillas. Yeah. And they're fun to just slice up, add a little extra salt, and toast them up, and they're so good.
Yeah, they are. They're really good. Well, Coach Sherry Ann, thank you so much again for being with us today, for sharing these wonderful recipes, healthy dinner tips and recipes. And we want to thank everybody that watched us today from all over the nation and from Arizona. This is Alex Juarez, Communication Director at AARP Arizona, and with Coach Sherry Ann. We look forward to seeing you, remember, June 22nd, same time, on our AARP Arizona Facebook page, and we'll be talking about brain health. With that, Coach Sherry Ann, thank you so much. Have a great rest of the week.
Yes, thank you.